Hi and welcome to the latest edition on my YouTube channel, manofmuchmetal.com on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in again. As you may or may not be able to hear in the background, the wind rages on, coronavirus rages on, the snow and the hail and everything else is biblical. It's great fun to be alive at the moment. I'm cooped up in the house, so you're the unwitting recipients and winners because I'm just churning these out as I sit here bored out of my brains. So here goes. So far, I've charted my musical history right from the very beginning, right up to my sort of GCSE period, I suppose. But I want to continue that because I've talked about Metallica, Iron Maiden, Megadeth, Paradise Lost, things like that. But there are a number of other bands that kind of came at a very similar period of time. I told you it would be coming thick and fast, and so here we go. With Iron Maiden in my head and loving the whole new wave of British heavy metal, this little number popped up on a shelf in the local Virgin music shop in Ipswich. I'd looked at it, and obviously in my early years, without the internet at this time and everything else, the album cover was important, and it was silver writing. It looked quite good fun, and I just fell in love with it. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to have to give this a try. And I'd gone in a couple of times and not, and I thought, right, now's the time. I took it home, and my first introduction into power metal, I guess. But it was just insanely fun. It is Happy Halloween. There are some great songs on there, including I think The Game Is On, which is based around the Nintendo Tetris game soundtrack, which is insane, but it's a great song and it works. Where the Rain Grows, another great song. Perfect Gentleman, all those sorts of cracking tracks that made me smile, and has sort of led me down the path of enjoying power metal and melodic side of the more melodic, I should say, side of heavy metal. So that's a really important one. I was on holiday with my parents and the family on the south coast of England somewhere, Devon, Dorset way, I can't remember which. And I saw this sitting on a shelf in a record shop. Machine Head burned my eyes. And I don't know what it did that attracted itself to me, but I just felt this compulsion to buy it. So I did. I took it home. At the time, I had one of these portable CD players, as you do, sort of a Discman, but a cheaper version. I wasn't rich enough to have a proper Sony Discman. So I took it home. I took it back to the bed and breakfast or the hotel we were staying in and put it on. And the first time I heard Davidian kick in with that rolling drum and the heaviest of heavy riffs, I was sold. I wasn't so keen on some of the other songs to begin with, but I listened and I listened and I listened, as I did it, back then when we didn't have so many CDs to listen to. You didn't have the internet to distract you, so I just listened and listened. I love it. Death Church. What else we got? Nation on Fire, Blood for Blood. Go on, and it was kind of this. It was very different for me because it was kind of a more modern, if you like, take on heavy metal. It wasn't the new metal necessarily that sprung up or sprung up and then fortunately kind of died away a bit. And Machine Head for me at that point, it was just insane. It was really good, really heavy, and I was starting to embrace some really heavy stuff at this point, much to my parents' concern. Maybe, perhaps, but they kept it under wraps, bless them. Let me listen to what I wanted to listen to, and another good addition to the collection. But speaking of heavy, brings me to Fear Factory. Um, Again, another holiday. It may have even been the same one. Frankly, I can't remember. But the front cover was amazing. I mean, it still looks amazing. I'm lucky enough to have a signed copy of it on my wall in my lounge that I won in a competition many years ago. Um, but it's wonderful front cover, and again, I took a punt. It was that whole um, wave, like the whole Roadrunner thing. I'm just checking it is Roadrunner. Yes, I am right. It was that whole Roadrunner thing at that point was just getting bigger and bigger, and it was like, okay, I'm going to give this a go, and it just blew me away. The technicality of it, the drumming of it, the atmosphere in it, the technology and everything else that it conveyed, that industrial kind of machine like music. It was just brilliant, just brilliant. And I still enjoy Fear Factory to this day. It's a shame they're going through one or two problems as we speak. So that's Fear Factory. And actually, my brother, to start with, was a bigger fan of them than I was. It took me a bit longer to get into them. But once I did, yeah, there's no question that I wasn't going to like them and follow them throughout their career from there and on. Then there's this little beauty. Typo negative, Bloody Kisses. I guess it all stems a bit from the whole Paradise Lost, My Dying Bride thing that I spoke to about last time, that the whole doom and gloom, the whole gothic stuff. It was just very atmospheric, very melodic. I mean, Pete Steele's voice was like none other that I'd heard before. So deep, so rich, so I don't know. There was something about it that was just almost mocking. You just wondered whether he was just using this to to laugh at us all or not. But I loved it. Black Number One, for example, incredible song. I still listen to this album quite a lot today. Typo Negative will be a very special band throughout my life, and it's such a shame that Pete passed away so tragically and so young. But maybe it's brought them more notoriety in a way, a bit like the Nirvanas of this world and what have you, where someone dies unexpectedly and so young, people step and take notice of the band, perhaps in a way they wouldn't have done or didn't before. So, Type of Negative, I won't hear a bad word against them. And whilst I brought up Bloody Kisses, that was the first one that I bought and liked. I would say that October Rust is probably my favourite album by them. But again, I might talk about them in more detail another time. And the final band in this whole kind of Music for Nations, Roadrunner, kind of mainstream metal, if you like, period, was these guys. Sepultura and their album Roots, which I still think is their best album that they've ever produced. Some might argue it's Chaos AD, but for me, it's that one. And I suppose the story that goes along with this one is the fact that you're listening on a Sunday evening to the Radio 1 Top 40 Countdown. And I was still coming out of those years where I still liked a little bit of the mainstream stuff, and I was transitioning, if you like, into full-on heavy metal territory at the expense of all else. So I was still listening to it occasionally. I can't remember for the life of me which number it reached in the chart, somewhere about 17, 18 or whatever. But I'll never forget the time I listened on national radio, and it went from some unknown pop song without a bone in its body of any contention or whatever. And suddenly they had to introduce Roots, Bloody Roots from Sepultura, and that thing just blasted out, and it probably made a few people turn off around the country, which was pretty cool. But those people who stuck with it probably came out the other side a bit shell shocked. But it was just I just loved it. The devil in me just really enjoyed that. To hear something like that on national radio outside of the weekly rock show. That album is all about the grooves, the riffs, the tribal feel to it. Um, the whole kind of DIY feel to it. It's got a nice warm authenticity to it. It's not overproduced. It's not um, technical particularly. It's just four guys just banging out some heavy music and letting the feel come through, which I really like. Um, Interestingly, their new album Quadra is possibly the best since this one. The rest after this started to go a bit downhill, if I'm honest. Didn't like them too much, but that remains a really important album in my collection, as do the one or two previous to that. So there you go. That's sort of the road runner, if you like, the Machine Head, the Fear Factory years, which intermingled so closely with a lot of other discoveries as I was buying so much music at the time. So that's it for this one. Tune in next time because it's a bit of a biggie in terms of a swing one way or the other. So check it out by all means. But for now, Man of Much Metal out.